I would like to express to everyone here tonight the profound gratitude that is in my heart for the solidarity that you have given me, for the hope and the strength that you shared with me while I was in prison. You have made this day possible, and the only way that I can pay you is by having a lot of gratitude, a lot of love for each and every one of you. We are Puerto Ricans, we are Latin Americans, we are Americans, we are people who love freedom and justice. One of the saddest things that I have experienced after arriving in Puerto Rico are the conditions that we face in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, unfortunately, was imposed a fiscal control board that can dictate to the Puerto Rican people what they should do. That should be unacceptable to all of us. Puerto Rico faces an economic crisis not of its making, but of the making of corrupt politicians. I want to point out how those corrupt politicians came into being. In 1898, when the United States government chose to invade and occupy Puerto Rico militarily, there were Puerto Ricans with them. A Puerto Rican elite, a Puerto Rican few in numbers, who chose to serve the interests of the United States government. They made it possible for Puerto Rico to start its colonization by the U.S. government. That elite repeats itself over and over and over. Sometimes we're told that people who fight for independence are only a minority. But the people, the Puerto Rican people, the vast majority of Puerto Ricans want to be Puerto Ricans. We love Puerto Rico. We're willing to do everything we can do. We don't need violence, but we're willing to do everything we can do to make Puerto Rico the nation that it has the potential of being. But there is an elite that repeats itself. We can start with a man by the name of Luis Muñoz Rivera and his son, Luis Muñoz Marin, one after the other, part of the Puerto Rican elite. And today we have in Puerto Rico the son of Pedro Rosselló, the governor in Puerto Rico, who in the 90s started the privatization of Puerto Rico, started to privatize, to sell that belonged to the Puerto Rican people without the consent of the Puerto Rican people. He sold a lot of what belonged to the public, owned by the public, yet he chose to sell it without the consent of the public. Most young Puerto Ricans were opposed, for example, to the selling of the Puerto Rican telephone company. It was a good company. It was a productive company. It created jobs, and he had jobs for Puerto Ricans. Today his son is doing basically the same thing that his father did. I do not know how many Puerto Ricans here know about what gentrification does to any community. To the people who live in that community, or to the people who live throughout the space that they occupy. Puerto Rico today, amazingly, there are plenty of construction for condominiums that are worth $2, $3, $4 million. None of those buildings, none of those condominiums are being built for Puerto Ricans. They are being built for people who can invest in Puerto Rico, take the money out of Puerto Rico, and receive incentives from the Puerto Rican government. No Puerto Rican who lives in Puerto Rico, who owns a little business, or who struggles and works, gets incentives from that government. On the 11th of June, the same day that we will be walking on Fifth Avenue, the same day that we will be celebrating the Puerto Rican parade, the Puerto Rican elite has chosen to celebrate a plebiscite, a futile exercise, because Puerto Rico is not going to be made into a state by Washington, by people like Trump, by people who are the legislative branch of the government or the judiciary part of the government. So the millions of dollars that are being spent to promote an exercise in futility, something that is worthless, could be used to keep 169 schools that the elite has chosen to close. The millions of dollars could be used to make the University of Puerto Rico a better place. And I would like to hear a big shout for the Puerto Rican students at the University of Puerto Rico. Because those are the students who are there, who have just stopped. They have stopped the strike, but they continue with the struggle. And those are the students who have the future of Puerto Rico in their hands, just like many of the young people here will continue to have the future of Puerto Rico in their hands. So I ask all of us to think, why those millions of dollars are wasted when they could be used for the betterment of Puerto Rico, especially for the betterment of our youth. I believe that to struggle for Puerto Rico, to love Puerto Rico, costs absolutely nothing. What would be costly is if we lose Puerto Rico. And I guarantee you that if the gentrification that is taking place in Puerto Rico continues, we will be losing Puerto Rico. We will not have the place that I consider to be our promised land. The land that every single Puerto Rican in the diaspora, every single Puerto Rican in the diaspora can go to and say, this is my land. Soy boricua, esta es mi tierra prometida. I would like to give you one simple example of what a promised land could be. There is a woman here called Ana López, compañera Ana López. She's the mother of 2 daughters. She has a grandson, his name is Verito. And that land that we want, our promised land, should be not only for Ana, not only for her daughters, but also for Verito. Verito someday can claim, I'm a Puerto Rican, I'm going to my homeland, I'm returning to my homeland. And every grandfather or grandmother here, every mother, every father, every grandchild here should have the same benefits, the same privilege, the same right to say, I am returning to my homeland, my promised land, Puerto Rico. There's another point that I want to make. A decision was made by the Puerto Rican Parade Committee. A decision to invite me to partake in this year's Puerto Rican Day Parade. I want to express my profound and heartfelt gratitude to that committee for one reason, or one main reason. It did not succumb. It did not run away from the challenge. It did not. It did not allow certain corporations to blackmail it, to dictate to it what it should do. It is the right of that committee to decide what it wants to do with the Puerto Rican Day Parade. No Puerto Rican should allow himself or herself to be dictated how to live. How to go around, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Chicago, wherever it is, with his or her hand standing out. Puerto Ricans cannot allow, we cannot allow ourselves ever to be dictated by anyone except our conscience, our heart, our will, our mind, our spirit, to do what we think is right, to do what we think is just, to do what is best for all of us. We should never allow a government that is corrupt, a government that is racist, a government that discriminates, with a president that abuses women, who has hatred and fear in his heart and wants to provoke hatred and fear. We should not allow that man to dictate to us what Puerto Ricans should do in Puerto Rico or what Puerto Ricans should do in this country. I've been told in Puerto Rico, I've heard it many times, that Puerto Ricans who are independentistas, Puerto Ricans who believe in Puerto Rican independence, hate Americans. And one of the things that I've spoken to, one of the things that I have said is, Puerto Ricans who love Puerto Rico cannot hate Americans. Because Americans extend from Alaska all the way down to Punta del Fuego in Argentina. Because I have 3 generations of Puerto Rican, part of my family, living in this country. They are Puerto Ricans, they love Puerto Rico, but they live in this country. They were born, raised in this country. And they are Americans. I cannot hate my own family, and I know that none of you would hate your family. So when I'm told, when I hear people say that we hate Americans, I tell them you're wrong. But besides that, we should wake up every day filling our hearts with love and compassion to move forward. Because a heart full of love, a heart full of compassion will not allow it to be poisoned by hatred and fear. We face many challenges in Puerto Rico. I ask diasporic Puerto Ricans to help Puerto Rico as much as you can. One of the messages that I have taken to the Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico is that we need to maintain ourselves unified. We need to create a big tent where all Puerto Ricans who love Puerto Rico can come together, transcend their differences, just with one purpose: to decolonize Puerto Rico. I'm certain that love for Puerto Rico is the solution to the colonization of Puerto Rico. Love, if we really love Puerto Rico, we can come together. The common denominator in that particular moment is love for Puerto Rico. But also, most Puerto Ricans want to be Puerto Ricans. Most Puerto Ricans want to stay in Puerto Rico, to live in Puerto Rico. Most Puerto Ricans in the diaspora have hope of returning to Puerto Rico. And there's a second common denominator that should unite us, and that is decolonizing Puerto Rico. Love Puerto Rico, and decolonize Puerto Rico. We can do it. What we cannot do is allow more and more Puerto Ricans to emigrate. During the last 15 years, over 1 million Puerto Ricans have emigrated. Mostly, all of them who have stayed in Puerto Rico, who have been making contribution to Puerto Rico. It has been probably the biggest brain drain that we have experienced. We have lost a lot of professionals, doctors, teachers, engineers, hospital health workers. We have lost students. So those are things that can make a big dent and lead to the destruction of our homeland. Because Puerto Rico, if we do not stop what's going on right now, we are bound to lose our homeland. And I'm going to tell you two things. If we want to see the future of Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, when Hawaii was annexed and when Hawaii became a state, mostly all the citizens of Hawaii were people who had moved from the 48 states into Hawaii. And today, probably 10% of the Hawaiian population is native. But if we go to the prisons in Hawaii, most of the prisoners are the Hawaiian natives. And the same thing we will see in Alaska. And native Puerto Ricans poder boricua, un grito a ese poder boricua porque lo tenemos, poder boricua para todos, mucho amor para todos y para todas. Así que buenas noches.
Tenemos una sorpresa a Oscar y los estudiantes de Hostos le tienen una sorpresita. Queremos que Oscar se pare al lado de los estudiantes.
Mi nombre es Rosa Herrera.
Félix Serrano.
Maite Munguía.
Stephen Meneri. Tomás Correa.
Oscar, bienvenido a Nueva York. Estamos muy contentos de tenerlo aquí con nosotros. Sabemos que usted es un luchador por la libertad. Sabemos que ama al pueblo, sabemos que ama a los estudiantes y sabemos que ama a todo el que lucha por la libertad. Hoy tenemos el gran placer de entregarle una placa en honor al trabajo que usted ha hecho en pro de la libertad del pueblo puertorriqueño.
It is a pleasure for us to have you here with us. We know you love your people, especially the students, and those who fight for freedom. That is why we have the honor to give you this award.
Oscar López Rivera. ¿Usted lo acepta?
Claro que sí, con todo el corazón.
Otorgado a Oscar López Rivera, prócer de la libertad y el Mandela de las Américas. From Puerto Rican Student Organization as of June 8th, 2017.
Aquí está el futuro de la patria, está el futuro de un mundo mejor y más justo. Ese es el futuro. La juventud en sus manos está el futuro. Así que me gustaría que le dieran un fuerte aplauso